West Oakland residents have a life expectancy of 10 years less than other Oakland residents.
You get to West Oakland and you see factories and houses, abandons, and just a lot of just stuff on the ground.
Because it's already a whole bunch of people out here getting killed for nothing, getting shot and stuff over turfs and all that stuff. We already got that, so why do we need stuff like air and pollution killing us too at the same time?
Everybody has the right to breathe clean air and drink clean water.
We don't get like the equal treatment like everyone else gets.
My name is Chantel Dyer Richard, and I am a resident of the West Oakland community down here on Union Street. I take my daughter to school every day, and some days it's just a nasty, rotten smell that I can't put my hands on. I don't know what it is, but I do smell it every once in a while, and it's quite apparent.
My name is Linda McFadden, and I lived next to Cass for over a year. I had no idea Cass was polluting the neighborhood for about 1 month because the wind was driving the smell in the opposite direction, and then around August the wind turned around and blew the smell straight into my house.
My wife and I own a piece of property on Union Street, almost directly across from Cass Metals. I've always been interested in this issue, but I have to say that a big kudo goes to McClymonds kids.
About 2 blocks down from Excel/McClymonds is this company, Cass, Custom Alloy Scrap Sales. And we know that they recycle metal. We knew that before we started taking our tour, because we actually did a little investigation beforehand to see what kinds of businesses were in the area. And when we walked around Cass, we could smell kind of stinky smells that didn't necessarily make us feel good.
You can say we were sneaking. We didn't get their permission, but we were like going around the little area, and like we'll find like little scraps of metal on the ground outside, and like every time we'd get to the door, they'll hurry up and close it. Like they don't want us to see what's going on, so we were like peeking through little holes and stuff like that.
A couple of the kids complained of headaches, and then we noticed that there was a lot of metal debris in the street that was in the public part of the street, and that really concerned us.
We picked up scrap metals, sent them off to get tested and stuff like that, and when it came back, there was lead, zinc, and nickel. Like nickel, and there was like a lot of chemicals in that stuff like that gets off into the air, and like it comes to our school because we're right here.
They're a recycler, and that's good, but they are emitting a lot of toxins into the air.
On one occasion, there were 10 times the amount of nickel that World Health Organization allows for, and on another occasion there was 7 times the cadmium that the World Health Organization allows for.
Well, when I heard about the McClymonds students finding lead in their classrooms, that is what got me interested, because, lead is a highly poisonous material, and they found it right in their classrooms with a simple swipe test.
Lead is one of the heavy metals that can cause toxicity in humans. That's very well studied and documented. In adults, they can cause lethargy and forgetfulness and problems concentrating as initial symptoms. And in children, it can be much more severe because they're still developing neurologically. And so in children, it can cause mental retardation and more significant damage.
When the students tested the air around Cass, they could only afford to test for single metals and single elements. There are millions of different compounds that still haven't been tested for.
Just the fact that it's an unknown of what they use there, the chemicals and whatever they're doing in that company, the unknown scares us, because we're inhaling all these different chemicals that are in the air, and when you're with child, you really, you think about that.
So as to whether air pollution in general has an impact on human health, the answer there is clearly yes. We know that air pollution triggers asthma attacks in patients with asthma, and as for the other effects, it would again depend on what the pollutant is. So at high enough levels, pretty much anything can cause damage to the lungs if you're inhaling particulate matter that doesn't belong in your lungs.
In terms of directly affected, I hope I haven't contracted cancer yet. And that would be the biggest concern, or some kind of lung disease.
For about 3 months, living next to Cass, my lips and mouth were tingling from the dirty air. The smell was so horrible, I know it was affecting my health. My house was impossible to keep clean. There was thick slag dust coming over the walls and settling in my house. Every time I washed the floor, there was thick, yellow, pasty water. Even if I washed the floor twice a day, there would be this thick paste coming off the floor, and I was breathing that.
The noise is ridiculous. It's terrible. Before I had to get up early every morning to take my daughter to school, you would be woken up by the businesses here.
The noise was making my nerves jangle 24 hours a day. I even blocked the windows with soundproofing material, and the noise coming from Cass came through the walls of the house. I had a decibel meter and measured the noise, and even at 3 in the morning, it's 70 decibels level constantly throughout the day.
It's hard when you have a young child and they want to take naps during the daytime, and you hear all the clank and the dropping of the metal, and even the traffic that is on this street, you know, going to these businesses is a big deal.
It's bad enough that the pollution is coming from the trucking, from the ports, and it's bad enough that the pollution is coming from the freeways. We all understand the need for the ports, we all understand the need from the freeways, but to have a polluting factory in our midst is unforgivable.